You know, it's really odd that we're the only known planet in the universe that harbours life, after the many advancements in technology with rockets and telescopes and sending stuff really far away from us into the black unknown in search of other planets that may or may not have life. We're still here twiddling our thumbs, wondering if we'll ever meet aliens in our lifetimes. But for those who are content with just studying all of the known life that's here on planet Earth, there's a whole bunch of really interesting facts about the many creatures, great and small, that roam around the many locations on Earth, from the depths of the Mariana Trench to the highest peaks where very little dare to venture. There's estimated to be about 9 million different species of things currently on planet Earth, and through thousands of years of study, we've found many interesting things about all species, from fish to insects to birds, and I thought I'd take a look into just a very few interesting things that I thought were pretty neat. This first interesting thing I found is about a species of bird that a lot of us Brits like to refer to politicians as. The cowbird is a species of bird that likes to do things a little bit differently to that of most of the birds. There's a few different subspecies of cowbirds which can be found around the globe, and just like politicians, these cowbirds are pretty darn evil when you look into them. So you know how birds like to create nests and lay their eggs and use that as a fort to bring up their young? Well, cowbirds like to do things a little differently, a little more parasitic if you will. Instead of making their own nests and bringing up their young the normal way, cowbirds have been known to take note of when birds have laid their young, fly away, and then use the time while that bird is away to very sneakily put their own egg in the nest so that they don't have to bear the responsibilities of bringing up their young. A lot of bird species have evolved to be able to figure out that there's an odd egg in the bunch and throw them out of the nest. But if you thought that the cowbirds were evil before, well, what if I told you that if a cowbird found out that their own egg has been tossed out of a nest because it wasn't supposed to be there, which is understandable, in retaliation they've been known to just yeet the rest of the eggs out of the nest. Damn, what a bird! Who knew that something could be such a bully in nature? Upon successful implant of an egg and a successful hatch, the cowbird has yet another trick up its sleeve, using specific calls to be able to figure out which chick is theirs and then just get the hell out of Dodge. There's quite a lot of parasitic organisms that exist in nature, but the cowbird, to me, it's just a straight up bully. Speaking of birds, you know how there's a lot of birds that are usually fond of fish? Like seagulls. Well, what if I told you that there's a fish out there that likes to reverse roleplay? Introducing the catfish. They're big, really big, and they're ugly, in my opinion. Oh, also they kill pigeons. What they like to do is hang around near where pigeons like to rest, and once they're close enough they jump in on land, beach themselves, give them the whole and then drag them back into the water for a nice snack. Pretty terrifying fish if you ask me. Not too much different to the likes of alligators and how they like to hunt deer and the such. Let's now take a look at a particular animal feature, shall we? Zebra stripe. Why do they exist? How did they come to be? Why were battleships covered with them? Well, to answer one of those questions, as it turns out, this particular pattern in nature proves to be quite eye-dazzling, which can prove very useful in a few ways. To answer the question of why battleships were painted in this manner, it's because it makes them look weird, and looking weird makes it a bit hard to distinguish the ship's heading and the status of the ship's onboard weapons, etc., which turns out to be very handy during a battle. In nature, stripes have proven to be able to fend off harmful flies like the horsefly, whose bite can cause itchiness and rashes and all those other nasty things. People who own livestock, like farmers, have even painted their own cows in such a zebra stripe, and yeah, it's been proven to reduce the amount of flies that are annoying them, at the cost of making them look a bit funny. Let's have a talk about animals that most of us will be familiar with. Dogs. Now, as much as we would like to be able to communicate with our beloved dogs as if they were human, as much as they are able to demonstrate that they can follow basic human instructions such as fetch or come here, or in the case of highly trained dogs such as those used in law enforcement, kill them! Dogs communicate very differently to us. One of the many things dogs like to use to communicate is sneezing, of all things. Yeah, if you have a dog of your own, you may have noticed that the dog might like to sneeze quite a lot when it's been excited or is playing with you. Like you're playing with your dog with that rope toy and he's yanking on it and stuff, and then he just starts sneezing out of nowhere. Dogs use sneezing as a method to let others know that they're in a playful mood. It's a good way for another dog to distinguish between a dog that's wanting to play fight and a dog wanting to fight because it's out for blood. Dogs also use a form of sneezing, or rather, fake sneezing, as a method to garner attention. You might be in the kitchen, cooking stuff like la 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 la, ah yes the curry's looking nice today. The dog walks in and is like and you're like, oh bless you, oh you're such a cute little doggy, oh yes you are, come here, oh yes 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 so cute, yes yes you are. Here you can have a little snack, oh you're such a cutie. If this has ever happened to you, then you have been swindled by your own dog. Dogs are intelligent enough to use fake sneezing as an effective method for gathering attention, and you can bet that they're also intelligent enough to know that the kitchen is where the food is. It's pretty much the equivalent of a human going ahem! Something to keep in mind, huh? And for our final fact of today's video, what if I told you that flamingos, those birds that are famous for their beautiful pink colouring, aren't actually pink in nature? What? Hear me out. Flamingos in nature are not actually pink. They begin life grey, white, or in between the two. The easiest way to kind of explain how this works is, you know that saying that your parents always taught you, you are what you eat? Well, with flamingos, that fact can be taken quite literally. You see, flamingos generally eat a diet consisting of fish, crustaceans, algae, and small insects. The majority of what they eat contains something called canthaxanthin, which is extremely hard to pronounce, so I guess I'll just call it canthax from now on, which contain a lot of alpha and beta carotenoid pigments. Oh god, I hate these long oh god. Very sciencey stuff. Anyways, this stuff gives anything that eats it its pink colouring, as you see in this beautiful pink bird. This isn't strictly unique to the flamingos either. The same can happen with all manner of different species of animals, like the spoonbills and the pink ibis, because they eat pretty much the same thing as flamingos. Us humans also take advantage of canthax. We have a lot of food which contains it, like mushrooms, crustaceans, fish, eggs, and more. Some people take canthax pills to help with sunlight or photosensitivity, and even take it to help with getting a sweet tan. I wouldn't really worry about turning pink though. Apparently for anything to happen to us, we would have to eat an unhuman amount of the stuff to see any sort of effect taking place. In any case, I hope you found all this info interesting. I certainly did when researching it all. If you did, make sure to leave a comment, leave a like, maybe even subscribe, if you want to learn some more stuff about our mad world. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you around, folks.